Every season, something happens that fans have never seen before.
Myles Garrett, first in history, 4 straight years, at least 14 sacks.
And 2024 was no exception. So let's break down the craziest first from the 2024 NFL season, shaking our heads in disbelief. First player with 14+ sacks in 4 straight years. Despite the Browns continuing to flounder about ineptly, their defensive end, Myles Garrett, has managed to put together quite a run. His team may be a roller coaster ride, and a nauseating one at that, but Myles Garrett has been steady as they come, and quite frankly, the one thing that's holding that defense and the franchise itself together. And in 2024, we saw Garrett make history as he became the first player in NFL history to record 14+ sacks in 4 straight seasons. And before you shrug that off in any way, shape, or form, remember, not only do the offenses know he's coming, meaning there's no element of surprise whatsoever, they also double him, triple him, chip him with running backs, tight ends, and anyone else they can find. It doesn't matter though, because Garrett finds a way. Not to mention that with Cleveland playing from behind in so many games during that span, the opposing teams are shifting into neutral earlier in games and playing a much more conservative game, meaning more runs and short passes to protect the football and eat the clock. And that still hasn't stopped Garrett from continuing his generational run, even in 2024, which has hit new lows for a Browns team with plenty of experienced lows. First rookie quarterback with over 815 rushing yards. Jane Daniels didn't just breathe life back into the void that was the Washington Commanders franchise, he fully revived them and elevated them to new heights. Furthermore, he brought an identity the team had been chasing for years. From the moment that he stepped onto the field, Daniels looked like the most dynamic quarterback the franchise had seen since Robert Griffin III lit up the league in 2012. But unlike RG3, Daniels seems built to last. Sure, there were some minor growing pains in the middle of the season, but Daniels has continued to develop as both a passer and a rusher, and set a new high watermark for dual-threat quarterbacks. Daniels not only has become the 5th rookie QB in NFL history to rush for at least 600 yards, but he eventually blew past Griffin's record of 815 rushing yards by a rookie quarterback. And there's no question about how impactful his play has been. No accusations of empty stats whatsoever. He brought the Commanders to a double-digit win total, which many thought was impossible coming into the season. And a lot of their ability to win close games was because 3rd and long wasn't a problem. It was an opportunity. Defensive ends thought they had Daniels, only to find out they were just a step too slow. And time again, he broke off clutch runs. And now he stands alone as the most accomplished rushing rookie QB to ever do it. Brock Bowers' best rookie tight end season ever. When the Raiders drafted Brock Bowers out of the University of Georgia, there was already buzz that he could be a generational talent at the position. While that label gets tossed around more often than it really should, it was clear very early on in Bowers' Raiders career that he was not just hype. And well, by the end of the season, any question marks evaporated entirely, as Bowers managed to break Mike Ditka's 63-year-old rookie tight end receiving record and went for well over 100 catches on the season. This was an exclamation point on a season that felt more like a Madden simulation. And while the numbers tell the story with him going for over 1,100 receiving yards and double-digit touchdowns, the eye test was even more impressive. Linebackers couldn't cover him, safeties bounced off him, cornerbacks were too small to stop him in the red zone. Raiders fans have been desperate for someone to step up and give this team a lift offensively, and Bowers answered the call week after week. Lamar Jackson redefining dual-threat quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not only having the best season of his career, he may finish with the best season of anyone's quarterback career. He isn't just rewriting what it means to be an elite quarterback, he is making the old way irrelevant. In a season that felt more like a personal highlight reel, Jackson is right in striking distance of Aaron Rodgers' single-season QB rating record, despite throwing significantly less often. Not to mention that he did all of this while rushing for over 850 yards. Let's pause for that. Jackson nearly hit 1,000 rushing yards while leading the NFL in passer efficiency. That's not just rare, that is unheard of. Week in and week out, Jackson makes defenses look helpless. Roll to the right, then fire a 30-yard dart downfield. He can remain poised in the pocket and launch a bullet across the middle. And just when a defense thinks that they've contained him, Jackson takes off, turning 3rd and 12 into a 35-yard gain without even flinching. It's not just the speed though. though. Its angles, vision, and the ability to make professional athletes look like they forgot how to tackle. Sure, the postseason is where he'll ultimately be judged, fair or not, but let's not act like what he's doing isn't special. This isn't just a great season, this is one of the best and most unique quarterback performances the league has ever seen. Even if he doesn't win MVP, there is no question that Lamar Jackson is redefining how quarterbacks are evaluated for the next decade. First NFL game played in South America. Eagles versus Packers in Sao Paulo. For years, the NFL's international expansion has been a slow burn. There was the failed NFL Europe experiment, then the league began routinely dipping toes in London, testing waters in Mexico City, and then finally re-entering Europe in Germany. But in 2024, the league finally planted its flag in South America, and Sao Paulo became the epicenter of football fever for a night. And heck, maybe even more. The Philadelphia Eagles and Green Bay Packers met at Corinthians Arena for the NFL's first ever regular season game on South American soil. And the atmosphere was electric. Fans decked out in green and gold packed the stands, waving Brazilian flags and singing along to fight songs, bringing the football style of fandom to American football in a great way. The game itself didn't disappoint either. Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love combined for over 700 yards of total offense, and the Eagles narrowly escaped with a 34-29 victory. But truthfully, the result almost felt secondary. The real win was for the league's global ambitions. A packed stadium, millions tuning in across Brazil, and a new generation of fans being born in real time. First time two teams finished with 14 wins in the same division. Lions and Vikings. Now, granted, this one was made easier by the 17-game schedule, but hey, both teams achieved the 14-win mark within just 16. The NFC North showcased unprecedented competitiveness as both the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings finished the regular season with 14-2 records. It was the first time in NFL history that two teams from the same division hit 14 wins. And yet, even that wasn't enough to settle things, as the two teams squared off in the final week of the season to determine the division champion and the first seed in the NFC. And of course, let's not forget the Green Bay Packers, who are no slouches either, as they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders with a firm grasp on one of the NFC wildcard spots. The NFC North was in a league of its own this year, and really in NFL history as one of the most competitive divisions that we have ever seen. 4 rookie receivers over 1,000 yards. Some draft classes bring star power, but others rewrite the record books. And, well, the 2024 rookie receiver class did both. Wide receivers Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and Ladd McConkey did it for the Giants, Jaguars, and Chargers respectively. While tight end Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders might have actually had the most impressive season of them all. This group of rookies didn't just beat expectations, they shattered them. Neighbors became the go-to target that New York had been missing for years. Thomas thrived in Jacksonville. McConkey turned heads in LA, catching fire as Justin Herbert's safety blanket. And Bowers? Well, he wasn't just a tight end. He was a one-man wrecking crew, leading the Raiders in every receiving category. Greatest individual performance of all time, not winning MVP. It's stating the obvious to say that Joe Burrow is currently having a historic season. But reality is, MVP awards often follow team success, and the Bengals' mediocre 8 record does not exactly scream elite. But if you dared to take Burrow out of the equation, Cincinnati might have been closer to 3-14. He wasn't just valuable, the man was essential, utterly indispensable for the Bengals. Despite an inconsistent rushing attack which pointed opposing defenses directly at him, Burrow led the league in damn near every passing statistic worth caring about. And he did so playing from behind, and with opposing defenses knowing what was coming every single Sunday. We would routinely see 8 men dropped into coverage, and yet Burrow still found the smallest cracks to exploit. When the offensive line collapsed, which it did often, Burrow found a way to extend plays with pocket presence that had Bengals fans holding their breath, waiting for him to either take a hit or pull off the impossible. In most seasons, Burrow's stat line and highlight reel would guarantee him the MVP. Sadly, there's a very good chance that Burrow's 2024 campaign will go down as one of the greatest individual seasons that history forgets. Aaron Rodgers, most sacked of all time. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets had one of the most disappointing seasons in recent NFL history this past year. So perhaps it's only fitting that he set a dubious record in the process, becoming the most sacked quarterback in NFL history in the process. Yeah, that's right. Rodgers became the first quarterback to be sacked sacked over 565 times. This total being reached after the team's ill-fated December 29th matchup with the Buffalo Bills, in which the Jets lost 40-14. Following the game, the quarterback made a knowing joke during the post-game press conference.
You're now the most sacked quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah.
You beat Tom.
Yeah. Got Tom in that.
But hey, what do you think is the craziest first from the 2024/2025 season? What do you think we're right about here? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anything notable that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.